Illinois at Wisconsin. This is another one that's like not a ranked matchup, but could be really interesting type of deal. Illinois favored by 7.5 on FanDuel, over under set at 40.5. Um, I don't think Illinois is the team on the road that Washington is, so I don't think, Illinois is necessarily going to lose here. But this Wisconsin team, they have proven me right week after week. They're a good defense. They stop the run well, and
Yeah.
they can kind of drag you into a bit of a nasty game here. And I think
Yeah.
Bret Bielema is normally really comfortable in the nasty games. But I don't know if you're comfortable going up against this run defense in this nasty game. I think this is a game where Bret Bielema is really going to have to rely on Luke Altmyer and Barry Lundy Jr. to really scheme some stuff up for him. I think it's really nice for them that Hudson Clement has been, taken off for Illinois lately a lot more,
Mhm.
which is awesome for them. But I do think that the pass rush for Wisconsin has been better this season. This game for Illinois is kind of a lot of the issues that plagued you at the beginning of the season coming back to haunt you again. Have you actually fixed
Yeah.
those things? Right? You did not always have the best defense. Wisconsin's not a great offense, but Carter Smith in there being pretty reckless, not in such a bad way, but just kind of going crazy, going out there. If you let this Wisconsin team score on you, if you let this Wisconsin pass rush get to you, if you let this Wisconsin defense hold you to 50 yards rushing, this is a game at the end of it,
Mhm.
and it's going to be whoever makes the worst mistake at the end is going to lose it. I don't know if it's necessarily that close, but I can definitely see it being that close.
Yeah. I don't love I really like Illinois, and I think they're better than people have given them credit for. But the thing I don't love is they're going on the road, to your point, and they've got to rely on they're going to have to rely on the passing game. Their run game has been iffy at best, and they're playing a really good run defense. And I think their receiving core is good, like solidly good. Like Hank Beatty is excellent.
And the way Hudson
And
Clement has been playing
Hudson
better
Clement,
the
yeah,
past couple games, yeah.
yeah, like Hudson, they have a good core of receivers, but they're not elite, and that concerns me when you're going on the road. Wisconsin all of a sudden has a little bit of juice after beating Washington a couple weeks ago. I know they just lost to pretty sizably to Indiana, but even in that game, they were more competitive early in that game than I expected. And I just don't love. I mean, it was 10-7 at half with
Yeah.
Indiana. And that was on the road, right? Like Wisconsin went into Bloomington
Wisconsin stopped the
and
run and they got pressure on Mendoza and they
yeah,
stopped him on a couple drives there in the first half that really threatened Indiana. Yeah.
yeah.
It
So
would have been
I
10 to
think
10 if Wisconsin had hit their field goal.
yeah. So I think there are things, if you're an Illinois fan, I think you have reason to be concerned because as bad as Wisconsin has been, there are parts of their team that have grown where you're like, ugh, this is bad. And I think the way Illinois is constructed this year, it's not the greatest matchup for them. Now, here's the counterpoint. Illinois has struggled defensively, but Wisconsin stinks offensively. And I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I don't think it matters
Carter
because
Smith, probably.
yeah, they're all bad. Like, no offense to the Badgers, but they're just not. It's not good. And I think Illinois will be able to hold Wisconsin at bay and at enough that they'll be able to score. And I think unlike Damon Williams, who I think is excellent, but is hot and cold, I think Luke Altmyer is steady. I think he'll make plays when he needs to with his legs, with his arm. I'll just give my score prediction here.
Go ahead.
I've got Illinois 20, Wisconsin 13. I think it's low scoring. I think Wisconsin barely covers, but I like Illinois to win.
I tend to agree. I think Luke Altmyer is the X factor here. I think he's the X factor with moving the ball down the field, with
Yes.
running the ball. I don't think you're going to see the Illinois running backs get a whole lot of yards. I think it's going to be imperative that they utilize more of this quarterback run, not more. They keep utilizing this quarterback run game well, like they have the past couple games. And, I don't know if Wisconsin gets 2 field goals just because they have been so iffy with the field goal kicking, but I definitely think Wisconsin could be in line for a couple field goals this game. I think that Wisconsin's offense is continuing to grow. They're continuing to get some trickery into it, and once you know who your quarterback is, you can kind of practice that more during the week, and I think that's going to help them out. But overall, Carter Smith with his legs, I think Wisconsin's going to move the ball a little bit. Don't know if they're necessarily going to get into the end zone a whole bunch. I think that they're going to get in there once, but I think Illinois is it's going to be something like 21 or 20 to 10. I think Illinois is going to get a number of opportunities. And one thing that Illinois has also done a really good job with, mixing in tempo very well,
Hmm.
very methodically. Barry Lunny Jr. is just a really, really good offensive coordinator. He's not a huge name out there, but if any of these teams go out and poach Barry Lunny Jr. as their offensive coordinator, they're going to be very, very happy with him. I hope it doesn't happen. I want him to stay at Illinois, but even Bret Bielema talks like sometimes like, yeah, he's going to be a head coach someday. He's
Hmm.
he's going to be very successful, and he's not going to stay here forever.